There was a Nirbhaya who died 4 years back, and every day Delhi is creating 6 more Nirbhayas.
We are an unsafe nation. Women are not safe inside the house and outside on the streets.
Every day in this country, somewhere or the other, a girl or a woman's body is being humiliated like anything.
Years after the Nirbhaya case, nothing much has changed on ground in the national capital.
Unsafe तो obviously हम लोग हैं. We should forget about the system, we should forget about the society. Let's talk about ourselves. मैं being a lady, मुझे इतना confident होना पड़ेगा कि मेरे से पहली बात तो कुछ गलत हो ही ना.
The girls, the women in Delhi, in their own country, in their own city, in their own hometowns are not safe today. Even after 4 years of the Nirbhaya case, we girls do not feel safe.
If we cannot go out to buy anything after 10 o'clock, it's a big issue for girls.
6 p.m. sharp, daily my father calls because I have to travel from Gurgaon to Delhi. कि तू कैसे आएगी, कब आएगी, अकेली है, अंधेरा हो गया, माता ये कर, जल्दी टाइम पे आना है and all that stuff.
Whatever happened 4 years back, it can happen with anyone, and being a girl, I will obviously be scared and I won't feel safe, even if it's any guy, even if it's my best friend.
The more they're left free, the more they'll feel like they can do anything they want. It really hurts when you come to know that there's another girl in the same society who's being hurt this bad. It can happen to us tomorrow.
So people have to take action, especially the government or the cops or anyone.
After the Nirbhaya case, nothing much has changed, and the man as a gender has been, the image of the man as a gender has been tarnished because of that.
It's been 4 years, viewers. 4 years since the horrific rape in Delhi shook the foundations of our society, and justice in that particular case, and this is shocking, still hasn't been served. But there's worse information. The Nirbhaya Fund that was started by the government in 2013, 1,000 crore rupees being added into that fund every year, has not been put to use at all. A parliamentary panel pulled up the government earlier this year for not using that money and doing absolutely nothing in that area. Nothing has changed on the ground. Crime against women has gone up in the last 4 years. What is it going to take to deter criminals who are now entering homes to assault, rape, and murder young girls and women in our cities? The number of fast-track courts in our country have come down from 1,734 fast-track courts in the year 2000 to 473 today. What is it going to take to deter criminals from hurting women? Why haven't we managed to get on top of the situation, and why aren't any of our governments putting this on priority? Our demand today on Magic Bricks Now, on the Urban Debate, is that there be a public online database of all sex offenders in the country, so that when you are about to hire somebody to work in your home, if there's someone who works as a peon or a driver or a teacher in the school where you send your child, or you're going to let somebody into your office, you can run a quick search on this database and find out if this person has been a convicted sex offender, name them and shame them. That is possibly the only way to deter people from committing crimes against women. That's the question we're asking tonight. Should there be an online database of everyone who has ever been convicted of a sexual offense? And I invite your opinions as well. Joining me on the panel today, Ava Singh, lawyer and activist. Dr. Varka Chalani is a psychologist and a psychotherapist. Joining me in Mumbai, Hitesh Jain will represent the BJP. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Rahul Ishwar is an activist. Yogita Bayani is a social activist. And Falguni Bansal joins us from Jaipur, who's also working in that area. Falguni Bansal, I'll come to you first. We talked a lot about the fact that the death sentence will be a deterrent. But the death sentence has not been a deterrent. Even in the Nirbhaya case, we're still waiting for justice. Why can't the government create a public database and put it online in this age of digitization? Isn't that a better solution, a faster solution right now?
Yeah, very true. As a matter of fact, the whole concept of being strict on the rapist has gone haywire just because there was a minor, and on mere technicality that minor got away with what he did. And in the era of social media, you know everything about every crime or anything that happens around us. And when you realize that somebody who was the most cruel in that entire episode of Nirbhaya has just not only just gotten away with it, but you don't even know who he is. So here we are, where a rape victim is a lot of times named and the identity has been disclosed, but here is an offender whose identity you do not know. So when we live in an era and in a society where it is so easy to get away with it, there is no, surprise that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all. It's not just the social stigma that hasn't changed. Even legally, things haven't moved forward. They should have moved forward quickly and rapidly, but that hasn't happened, and which is a very, very unfortunate thing.
Chelani, I want to come to you with this. This is a practice that's accepted in other parts of the world, where a database is created of people who are convicted. I'm not saying of those who are accused or suspects, but people who are convicted of a crime, so that parents, employers, neighbors, prospective landlords can be aware of whom they're letting into their houses. In this age when we live in a world where everything is available online, is it too much to ask then for the government to create a database and put these names online and make them available to all of us?
No, I think that's an excellent thing that we want to do, because unfortunately in this country, any crime which doesn't get the required consequences tends to be repeated. So I think it's something that the government needs to consider seriously, so that the well-being and the safety of people is paramount and is taken care of. So I think it's important that consequences are met and faced by people who indulge in any kind of crime, whether it is petty crime, whether it is rape, whether it is being imprisoned for thievery, or whether it is the big scandals and scams that rock this country possibly every other day. So I think it's an excellent idea. I don't see why the government is tardy and is not taking this issue. I was hearing you earlier and you said that the fast track courts have been reduced from 1700 to 400. So we really wonder that whether the government is serious at all in addressing what needs to be addressed at an extremely important and an extremely, a very crucial juncture of changing mindsets among Indian men. In fact, I would be forced to say that the reason rape and crime has increased is only because I think there is a mindset which is kind of being propagated, where today men are unfortunately seeing women who are kind of matching them, standing up to them as threats. And until we don't have an attitudinal shift where the man does not feel threatened by a woman, this crime of oppression, rape being one of the worst, so to speak, because it completely humiliates and demeans the woman, is only going to increase.
Well, I want to bring in Rahul Ishwar here. Rahul Ishwar, Dr. Chelani making a very, very good point there, that a lot of times this sort of crime of oppression, that rape is a crime of oppression from men who can't bear to see women stand shoulder to shoulder in every walk of life right now. What is the deterrent, according to you, Rahul Ishwar, to stop people from sex offence?
Rape is not a matter of oppression. Rape is a matter of sexual perversion. We shouldn't unnecessarily label things according to our own ideology. Let us get the facts straight.
Psychologist and a psychotherapist, Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, Dr. Chelani is an expert. She's just not labeling something for her convenience.
Female issues. We should.
Dr. Chelani is not labeling something for her convenience. She's an expert.
I'm also very expert at left liberal feminism, madam. Yeah. I'm sorry to say the whole left liberal intelligentsia wants to make rape just an issue with feminism, oppression and male chauvinism. Unfortunately, it is not.
It's not. Rape is not a male chauvinistic act. Rahul Ishwar, rape is not a male chauvinistic act. I don't understand what you mean. Shama Mohammed, feel free to jump in if you want to. Rape is not a male chauvinistic act.
Rape is a perverted act, criminal act.
Right.
Rape is a perverted act, criminal act against a woman, which should be condemned in all possible terms. We need value education.
About husbands who rape their wives?
For a wonderful suggestion. We need to have some kind of a digital account, but No. Marital rape right now, according to government position, is a very tricky issue. That's a
It's not tricky at all. Rahul Ishwar, it's not tricky at all. And the government is wrong on that issue. It is not tricky at all.
You have to understand, Faye, Rahul Ishwar is a chauvinist, so he has a set mindset and he's not going to change on that.
A person of the stature of Amartya Sen. Yeah, don't worry, I don't mind being called a chauvinist by female chauvinist, but at least please listen to a person of stature of Amartya Sen, who is a very respected figure in the left liberal circles. Amartya Sen points out, more than India, America has rapes. So it is not an issue of freedom or oppression. There are deep-seated cultural issues, social issues. We should address it by value education, creating gender sensitivity, respect for women, and not use such a sensitive issue for propagation of any ideology. It's a sexual perversion and criminal act. It
Who
should be
is
seen
propagating
in the right
an
context,
ideology?
not in any ideological
Faye,
context.
ask him, who is propagating an ideology here? What ideology
Nobody
is he
is talking
propagating
an ideology.
Any ideology.
Rahul Ishwar, I have a few problems with what Rahul Ishwar said. Problem number one is the fact that we are using it to propagate an ideology. But more importantly, the fact that he believes that it's purely perversion and nothing else. And I want to go back to the two experts here. Dr. Chelani, in your experience, when you've studied these cases, what are the main motives behind criminals who commit rape? Help us understand.
First of all, I think a criminal who commits rape is severely emotionally disturbed. Okay, is a person who is imbalanced, is not able to control his urges and his impulses, and unfortunately believes that any proverbial woman can be somebody who he can sexually have relationships with. So the first criteria of a person who commits such a heinous crime is that he is a person who is not mentally stable. Number one. Two is that there is a kind of a outlook over there, and I'm not in any way a feminist and I'm not in any way propagating an ideology, but to call it simply a perversion is to completely elucidate and completely simplify the matter. It's not as easy. As you said, Mr. Ishwar, you are right that it is a cultural and a general trend which is basically the way mindsets about people are, and I'm not in any way propagating that it is simply only an oppression, but at the same time it is one of the ways, unfortunately, that the man uses to control his woman, and it is all over the world. Oppression, who said, does not take place in the Western world? Of course it does. The point here is that to just simplify it and call it an act of lack of culture, lack of value, it's not as simple as that.
But actually, you know what? I just want to go as far as to say tonight, we have been talking about crime against women in this country on this channel repeatedly, day after day, week after week, week after week, and we're seeing absolutely no change in intention, no change in anything on the ground, to a point where I no longer have the patience for some sort of cultural education, for some sort of gender diversity education for the men of our country. I want all criminals to be simply thrown behind bars so they do not have the ability to hurt anybody else in the future. That is my simple demand. So right now, there's footage running on this channel right now of this cab driver who raped a woman in a moving car in Delhi. I don't understand why his face is covered. I don't understand why he's not just simply put behind bars with a fast-track court. Now, this is going to drag on for years and years. He's going to come out on bail. He's going to be a threat to society one more time. We're not going to know who he is. His information is not out. And that puts us, as a society, that puts us at risk. I demand that these people be put behind bars as quickly as possible. Shama Mohammed, I didn't give you a chance to talk. Go ahead. What is your opinion about naming and shaming everyone who is a convicted criminal as far as rape is concerned, so that these people can never get jobs again, they can never get married, they can never be part of society, because everybody will know who they are before they even enter a room?
Not only
See, I want to start with a very important thing is we need to sensitize. After the Nirbhaya rape case in 2012, the UPA came out with the Justice Verma Committee, which says that we have to sensitize our police people first and foremost. The men in the police force are not at all sensitive to women. Number two, they wanted to increase the number of women in the police force to 33%, and only women should take the complaint. Any criminal act, what has happened to women, should be taken by women, and whatever the statement should be noted by a woman constable or a police or any other police officer. So these things have not been done. You know, there are only, I think, 9% of women in Delhi in the police force, and a national average of only 6%. So a lot of things being told. In our country, the issue is we have a lot of laws, but these are not implemented. So definitely I agree with you that if there is a convicted rapist, why cover his face? What is the need to cover his face? He should be exposed. The people should know who has done such a heinous crime, and rape has to be stopped. And a lot of places like UP, and you should know that from 2014 onwards to 2016, there is 200% increase in rape cases all over India. I must say that when Mr. Modi, I'm not making it a political thing, but when Mr. Modi was campaigning in 2014, the most important thing he said is we have to protect Beti Bachao. We need to give security to our women. And I must say the condition of women, especially in our capital, is very, very poor. And since the Delhi police come under the central government, I'm really, I don't have words for this, but it is really unbecoming of a government to have such number of rape cases in the capital of this country. So definitely I agree with you that we need to name and shame these people. And it's not just rape, but the acid attack, murder at the railway station in Chennai. I mean, heinous crimes, dowry deaths. Every day we hear at least 10 crimes against women in this country. Definitely the government of the day should take strong steps, and also you must understand why rapes continue, because there hasn't been conviction in the Nirbhaya rape case, which started 4 years ago.
Yogita Bayana joins us right now. Yogita is with the Das Foundation. She's a social activist. Yogita, there's obviously been no deterrent so far for people committing this crime.
Definitely, as the other panelist was also saying that even Nirbhaya case has not got any justice. I personally go on every hearing in Supreme Court, and the way it is going, and I mean, there is no sense of justice. If Nirbhaya case, the most highlighted case, doesn't get justice, what we expect for the normal man who has not even been able to report his FIR? You know, I mean, there's a long way to get justice. Coming back to naming and shaming, even I would like to say that we need to socially boycott such people. Even the families should be boycotted, and we need to name and blame the families, because this has been the upbringing from the mother, from the father, and we need to really get into the root cause why this person became such a perverted guy that he ended up raping, you know, a girl. It is a heinous crime, not even a perverted mind, but it is larger than that. Mr. Ishwar was saying it is a perverted mind. No, it is beyond that. It is a heinous crime. It is not only killing the body, it is killing the soul of a person, because a rape, the girl who survives the rape will never be able to live a normal life. And the girl who dies, the family will never be able to live a normal life, because I work with Nirbhaya's family, I've worked with such other families. It is not just a word, rape, R-A-P-E. It is beyond, I mean, beyond imagination what the family goes through, what a girl goes through. So we really need to get into the subject, right? And we have to work on gender, not equality, gender sensitization. We need to work on gender separation, which is happening in our country, which is objectifying a woman. It will create more problems if we separate the gender again too much. So we need to attend it rightly and need to get into the basic level, basic root cause of it.
From what you're saying, and there's something that we need to point out as a society at this point, as a country, that we let go of a lot of the smaller problems. So when somebody is caught eve-teasing or stalking or bothering a girl, a lot of times the girl's family is told to let it go. छोड़ दीजिए ना, लड़का है, हो जाता है, उसकी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो जाएगी, उसकी career बर्बाद हो जाएगी. And that sort of encouragement is what brings us to this point today, where we don't punish the molesters, we don't punish the stalkers.
I have one thing to say.
Yes.
Working with the grassroots level, on the grassroots level, I always have seen that gives them encouragement, and every eve teaser is a potential rapist. Every eve teaser is a potential rapist, because he gets encouragement and he ends up doing such thing, because he knows that he will never be caught. Eve teasing is so easy, so he takes one step ahead. So I mean, we need to really go ahead and do something about these smaller issues which leads to the bigger issue of rape.
Absolutely. Abha Singh now joins us on the conversation. Abha Singh, thank you for joining us. We're talking about naming and shaming sex offenders. And by sex offenders, I mean everybody. I mean people who are molesting children. I mean people who are molesting women, those who are stalking people, those who have in any way, objectified women. We need to put these names out. If they have been tried and they have been found guilty by a court, there has to be an open public database of everyone who has ever been convicted. Abha Singh.
Definitely, naming and shaming will be the biggest deterrent, because it is seen that in spite of a strong law after Nirbhaya, that Criminal Law Amendment Act, which provided for death penalty, which provided for 20 years imprisonment, which got new laws like voyeurism, stalking, but in spite of that, NCRB figures say that there are 93 rapes every day. Every half an hour there's a rape happening. It clearly shows that in spite of strong laws, we have been unable to check the increasing crime against women. So definitely, why do we hide the name of the rapists? Why do we cover their faces? Till the time they are named and shamed, I think till that time a mother will not come out and tell her son, listen, don't misbehave with a girl, don't go out, molest her, don't stalk her. Till the time there is societal pressure, till the time there is mother's pressure on her son, teach her that to learn to respect a woman. I think till that time any strong law or the police would not be able to check this increasing crime against women.
You know, the other thing that we must point out here, and Hitesh joins us, Hitesh Jain represents the BJP. Hitesh Jain, thank you for joining us. The other thing we must point out here is that crime against women, that rape, is of very low priority to all of our governments. It's not top of mind. It's not something that's being pushed. I want to understand why the governments, all of the governments here, and it's not about this party or that party, Hitesh. I want to understand why are women of such low priority? Why is rape and crime against women of such low priority to governments?
Well, I don't first of all agree with the statement that women are low priority for the government, for any government. I mean, I'm not talking about BJP, but I think for any government, women's security, safety, and woman as a person is of a high priority, because at the end of the day, a man also takes the birth from a woman. So therefore, to undermine the position
Hitesh Jain, don't give me that kind of lip service. Let me give you data.
Please,
We have data. March 2016, a parliamentary panel has wrapped the Women and Child Development Ministry for leaving the Nirbhaya fund lying idle. The panel goes on to say crime against women is on the rise, and we are not satisfied with the action taken by the ministry at all. The fund has been available for the last 3 years. The ministry has done nothing. July 2016, only 36 of the 660 rape centers that should have been opened by the government have been opened. There's been no movement at all on the fast track courts. I pulled up the 2014 manifesto by the BJP from the bjp.org website. This is the election manifesto. It does not mention crime against women, not once. So I can't hold you to it, Hitesh, because it has not been mentioned. It is not a priority. It has not been put in the manifesto. Beti Bachao is, women healthcare is, women mobile banking is, crime against women has just not been mentioned.
Can I respond?
Please, Modi ji has campaigned.
Can I respond?
Remember the campaign.
No. Let's go by
Can I respond now?
Hitesh Jain, please respond.
Can I respond? In the campaign, there was Beti Bachao Yojana. There was Beti Ko Lakshmi Bachao, where you have to see that people were killing the girl child. So to encourage the girl child, there were the schemes for that. What is the meaning of to stop open defecation? One of the reason of that is also to make sure that what is this open defecation?
This is digressing.
Want to take a campaign.
Please,
so this is not digressing. This is addressing the issue holistically and fundamentally from the root cause, rather looking at superficially.
No, this is digressing.
What do you mean
I have some
superficially?
statistics.
What do you mean superficially?
What is police doing? It is actually the right thing he said, that
what is the Delhi police doing? Who is the Delhi police under? Mr. Hitesh, who is the Delhi police under? It's under the central government. What is the Delhi police doing?
Hitesh Jain, let me accept on this channel that Beti Bachao and the campaign against open defecation are fantastic campaigns run by the central government, but that doesn't mean that you entirely sidestep crime against women, that you sidestep rape, that you don't mention it at all. You pretend like it doesn't exist, because this is what it sounds like.
Nobody is looking. Judicial reform is a part of a process, overall process. There has been the Prime Minister is speaking every time. I don't know whether you are aware, but all the cases in Maharashtra, there was a
the Prime Minister has been speaking on various issues. Where is he doing anything?
Crime against the woman judges have been appointed.
Action is what we want. Action. Where is the Prime Minister?
Action is already there on the ground.
He has monologues.
Action is there on the ground.
There is only Bhashan. The Prime Minister gives Bhashan every day. He doesn't talk, he doesn't take any response from the opposition. He doesn't discuss anything. He's been giving Bhashans for the past 2 years. Why has the crime rate against women increased by 200%? What is the Delhi government doing about it?
Articulating a very good view.
They just make it a low-hanging carrot. They have all the political parties have made the rape as a low-hanging carrot.
Okay, let me point out.
They just propagate it.
Hitesh Jain, I've brought in data today. Maharashtra.
It's unfair to blame the PM.
We're not blaming the PM. Maharashtra, you brought up the state of Maharashtra. Maharashtra had 187 fast-track courts approved in 2000. Today, there are only 80 fast-track courts that are currently functional. I can go now into year by year, number of cases registered, number of cases. Basically,
Maharashtra. Answer the question: if 80 fast-tracks are the remaining courts have not opened, whose responsibility is to set up the fast-track court? The government has provided the infrastructure. So who has to set up the fast-track court? Who has to appoint the judges?
Single window. We don't have any one-stop shop for rape survivors.
You're having a tussle with the judges.
Let me just refocus this debate, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just refocus this debate.
I want to come in on one statistic.
Shama, I'll come to you.
I want to come in on...
One second. I'll come to you.
I want to come in on one thing.
Yes. I want to refocus
this. You know what we are talking? The strong laws,
I want to refocus this debate on why crime against women, why the numbers on crime against...
How we can prevent the rape.
Why the crime numbers?
These are all the things you are talking. Post someone does the rape, what we have to do. But what about how can we prevent the rape?
Why the rapes are not stopping?
Hitesh Jain, tell me, what is the government doing to prevent rape? Hitesh Jain, tell me, what is the government doing to prevent rape? Tell me what the government is doing.
Nothing.
So the government is making sure. So right from the education, from everything. So all therefore, when I was speaking about Ladli Lakshmi Yojana, Beti Bachao Yojana to prevent open defecation, all these steps have been taken.
None of those steps directly address the problem of rape. Why are you taking such a long roundabout method? Why aren't you addressing the problem of rape directly? Why aren't you acknowledging the problem of rape directly?
How do we achieve? I want to also understand how do we achieve? What are the steps? I mean, at the end of the day, people also
from Redford pointed out one thing very important.
Democracy.
In our land, many a times women are blamed.
Can we have on your channel today 4 suggestions which I can take
very
back
good.
to
I'm
the
glad you
government
asked. I'm very glad you asked. I will give you a suggestion. I'm very glad you asked. I will give you a suggestion. The suggestion
we have
to give you suggestion.
Can we have 4 steps today from the elite panel which I can take back to the government, which will help? Why
definitely. If you stop talking, we'll give you 4 steps.
Confrontation and criticism.
Hitesh Jain, 1 second. I'm very glad you asked. I will give you 4 suggestions, and all of our panelists have 4 suggestions. I'm going to the doctor first. The doctor, and our suggestion first on the channel is that we put up a database, Hitesh Jain, that is national, that is public, that is online, that identifies all convicted sex offenders, so we know who these people are when they enter our homes. Doctor, go ahead.
So yes, definitely. I think I would go with what your channel wants is to have severe consequences met when the person does an offence as serious as rape, to put up all the lists and names with photographs if possible, so that everyone knows who they're going to be dealing with in the future. That's step number one. I think education. I think education is essential, where today we need to educate the man in this country that basically he need not be so fragile as to view every woman as a proverbial threat to his manhood, and that he needs to respect what a woman stands for. It's so ironic in a country which worships Lakshmi and which worships Durga. The unfortunate irony of it all is the Indian man does not necessarily respect the Indian woman. So I think that will come with a serious mandate for education. I think these are my two core suggestions. Let's convict them, let's have them face the consequences, let's put them out there for the world to see who these people are. And I think mental health education to help the person as in to help the man realize that the woman is as
Thank you, ma'am. These are the best suggestions. Now, can we discuss more in terms of education?
One second. Let's hear out all of our panelists. Hitesh Jain, we have lots of panelists. We have lots of experts. Falguni Bansal, first suggestion, the public database. Second suggestion, education. Go ahead. What's your suggestion?
Yes, one, I would like to endorse the public shame for the simple reason that rape is more of a social crime in our society than anything else. Yes, it is a physical crime. It is definitely a crime. It is a brutalizing thing. But let us just not forget that in our society, a girl who has been raped is treated very differently. While if somebody has been hit by a bus, do we really treat them differently? Do we really cast any kind of aspirations on them? Or do we really start whispering when that particular person walks in? But this is what happens when a girl who's been raped who walks into a crowd. This is how we behave. So it is a social crime. So a girl who's been victim is being victimized all the time. So if we try and put up the name and the photograph of the person who has actually raped the girl, what is the harm? And United States of America has this. All the sex offenders are on the registry. And even the ones who do not serve time and cut a deal, most of them have to agree to go on the registry. So the database is there. So there is already an example that you can also put your criminals on that database. Secondly, we need to look at the smaller things that we practice throughout our lives, like the kind of sexist approach we have towards girls. And I'm not talking about all the feminist things. I'm talking about these small things, like ये तो मेरी बेटी नहीं मेरा बेटा है. The moment you say that, you are somewhere complimenting her and you are saying that she is as good as her son. So somewhere you are actually saying that otherwise girls are not so good, So when we try and say this, and that happens all the time. In your advertisements you will have this, in your films you will have this. We are going to have a film by a very famous star now, and he says, "Meri choriyan chore se kam hai kya?" So the moment you start drawing this kind of comparison in your everyday life, so we have to have a change. And if
Abbas Singh, all right, we got the point. Abbas Singh,
everything that शौचालय बनवाइए, महिलाओं को खुले में मत जाने दीजिए, तो why can't you say कि लड़कियों को लड़कों के साथ में इस तरह से कंपेयर मत करिए? आप उसका भी कैंपेन चला सकते हैं.
Abbas Singh, one, do you endorse the need of a public database? Secondly,
yes,
people who get pulled into lockups for eve teasing, for stalking, for molesting, for child molesting, should there be a stricter method of treatment so that they don't go ahead to commit more heinous crimes?
Definitely. In fact, recently one of the rape accused jumped parole, and now the courts have come with this that in cases of heinous offences like murder and rape, accused undergoing punishment should not be set out on parole. So that is one thing which is coming in. But one thing which is very important is that the justice has to be speedy and definite. This is what I want Hitesh Jain to take a constructive suggestion. In Asaram case, the witnesses have been murdered. The case is still going on. So it is necessary that witnesses are given police protection and the trial should not drag on. Even in Nirbhaya case, the rapists, their appeal for against death penalty is pending in the Supreme Court because it is so delayed that there is no connection between the offence and the punishment meted out. So the fear factor gets dissipated. So it is important that justice is speedy, definite, and conviction rate in rape cases is just 29%. That means almost 70 out of 100 rapists go scot-free. We need to set the system right. Until the time we don't do it, there will be no deterrence and any strong punishment will not be able to deter the rapist.
All right, Rahul Ishwar, do you endorse the need of a public database, and what is your suggestion to the government?
Of course, that's a brilliant suggestion that Magic Bricks has put forward. It should be taken seriously by the government. And second, how can we forget PM Narendra Modi's contribution, where he changed the cultural discourse of this nation by asking, don't ask your girls, ask your boys where were they. He has even pointed out that value education for guys is a very important thing. We have a culture of blaming the girls.
He can point
but PM
out
himself
many
spoke from
things.
Redford and changed the narrative.
Action, where is the action, Rahul Ishwar?
Yeah, we right-wing groups have always advocated capital punishment for rapes. It is only the left liberals who are against it. The fear
we were the ones who implemented 2013. UPA implemented after Nirbhaya the 2013 Criminal Amendment Act.
Such kind of harsh punishment.
Criminal Amendment Act was done by the UPA. Do not forget in 2013.
See, let's not make this. Hang on. Let's not make this a. This is not a political thing.
But why are we doing the UPA versus NDA
this is not a political thing. This is not a political thing.
No, he was saying about
not enough has been done by any government in this country. There is no state government and there is no central government that has a decent track record when it comes to crime against women. Let's first make our peace with that and let's first be honest about that. There is not a single state government in this country that can stand up proudly and say they've managed to get this problem under control. Not one. Not a single government.
I want to give my points on this, please.
For them, it's just propaganda. They just want to highlight them in the manifestos and they end up doing nothing. They just show it as a low-hanging carrot and they just fool us. Like, okay,
in fact, the only time it's ever mentioned is during election. Shama Mohammed and then Hitesh Jain. Shama Mohammed, go ahead.
I want to also give suggestions.
See, I think the most...
I also want to give him one suggestion that we are talking about people...
Go ahead, Yogita. Go ahead, Yogita.
What power can... What people can do, we have heard enough that we can give education to our children, we can raise our boys right, that is okay. What government can do, definitely why Damani was raped, why Nirbhaya was raped, not only because of these boys, also because she was not given a good infrastructure. When she stepped out of the mall, there was no good transportation, she could board and reach home safely. She had to wait so much that, you know, she got into the hands of these vultures. So there are many issues, not only one aspect to women's safety. So government should also come and give good infrastructure. This is another suggestion. Why not you upgrade the infrastructure? Why not you have more good commuting transport here in Delhi for women's safety? If you are so concerned about this issue, why only you say it in your manifesto, not end up doing anything about it? Also, when we talk about this, the sensitivity in the boys, why we use... till now, everyone is using this maa behan ki gali in India. Why can't you just boycott and say that it should be stopped then and there? Why can't you run a campaign on women abuse? Why can't you run?
All right, Right. One second, Shama, before I come to you, I want to point out to our audience that one second, Shama, one second. The Aam Aadmi Party, Falguni, one second. The Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi used the point of women's safety repeatedly in their manifesto. Obviously, even if we take the last 48 hours, it is a point that they have not managed to stay on top of, and they are also not speaking to us about it. We keep inviting them to these conversations and they have not been part of these conversations. Let me just put it on record that we've invited them and they have not come to these conversations on repeated invitation, and that was the political party that used women's safety and the battle against crime for women in their manifesto. The other parties
not only in manifesto, they build up the party on women's safety issue. After Nirbhaya case, only they got the due limelight and they got into power. So I would give all the credit to
Shama Mohammed and
Hitesh
Jain. Shama Mohammed and Hitesh Jain, I beseech you not to make this about a political battle, but to actually focus on the problem.
So I would like to tell Hitesh Jain is that I would like to echo the words of Abbas saying that We have strong laws. Yes, we have strong, very strong laws, but implementation is our problem in India with all laws. You know, if it's implemented and if there is conviction, definitely there will be fear. For example, first and foremost, we need to fast track this Nirbhaya case, convict the 4 and give them the death penalty. 2 were given, but it's been stayed by the Supreme Court. So the death penalty in the Nirbhaya case, if we set an example, then definitely they will, if one precedence is there, then everybody has a fear factor in them. Number 2 is sex education in schools. It's very important in all government schools that there should be sex education, and to sensitize our policemen in treating women, and also to increase the number of women police officers in the force.
I disagree here. Why are you talking about gender separation again? Why women police? Why not a male?
I'm telling you why we need to increase also women. Sometimes when we have to sensitize the men.
Yes.
I agree totally on that.
Yes.
But we also need to have more women in the police force. It's
What we need is for the 3,000 crore rupees in the Nirbhaya fund to actually be spent in a smart manner.
Used because it
the
was
660
used,
rape centers, the 660 rape centers that were meant to be set up by the government, they actually need to hit that target and set those up. Right now we only have 36 and the deadline is another 150 by April 2017. We don't know if that deadline has been made. When will the 660 rape centers actually be ready? Who is using the 3,000 crore rupees in the fund?
There are no forensic labs and evidence they are getting
and
lapsed.
Also counselling.
I have victims, they are not getting justice because their evidence was lapsed and they didn't get the justice because of only the one reason. Delhi has only one lab and overall India, if you compare, we a handful of labs are there, and actually this is a real genuine problem need to be addressed, and that is why I said infrastructure needs to be in place, whether it is putting infrastructure for the travelling or infrastructure for the medical. I mean, it has to be done by the government. What people can do about it? We can change our mindsets, but we can't change the infrastructure with our money. So it has to come from the government. It is a win-win situation for both. So they have to work on the infrastructure.
All right, I just want to play out these bites. Hitesh Jain, I'm going to come to you to respond to everything, but I want all of the panelists to just hear what today girls across the country had to say. Young girls. We went out and spoke to young girls in various cities, from Trivandrum to Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai. We asked them if they feel safe. And we'll realize when we hear out these bites that it's not, we don't have the time right now. We don't have the time to educate our little boys and wait for them to grow up. This is a problem that we need to solve today. This is a crisis situation where half our population doesn't feel safe in their own homes. Listen in.
Absolutely, yes. When the child is dying.
4 years after the Nirbhaya case, nothing much has changed on ground in the national capital.
Unsafe तो obviously हम लोग हैं. We should forget about the system, we should forget about the society. Let's talk about ourselves. मैं being a lady, मुझे इतना confident होना पड़ेगा कि मेरे से पहली बात तो कुछ गलत हो ही ना.
The girls, the women in Delhi, in their own country, in their own city, in their own hometowns are not safe today. Even after 4 years of the Nirbhaya case, we girls do not feel safe.
If we cannot go out to buy anything after 10 o'clock, it's a big issue for girls.
6 p.m. sharp, daily my father calls because I have to travel from Gurgaon to Delhi. कि तू कैसे आएगी, कब आएगी, अकेली है, अंधेरा हो गया, मत आ, ये कर, जल्दी टाइम पे आना है and all that stuff.
Whatever happened 4 years back, it can happen with anyone, and being a girl, I will obviously be scared and I won't feel safe, even if it's any guy, even if it's my best friend.
The more they're left free, the more they'll feel like they can do anything they want. It really hurts when you come to know that there's another girl in the same society who's being hurt this bad. It can happen to us tomorrow.
So people have to take action, especially the government or the cops or anyone.
After the Nirbhaya case, nothing much has changed, and the man as a gender has been, the image of the man as a gender has been tarnished because of that.
Hitesh Jain, I want to point out that these were young people, young citizens of our big cities. We haven't even spoken to those outside of our big cities. What is the government doing? And the suggestions that you have received on this panel, will you take these forward?
Well, certainly the suggestion about naming and shaming publicly and putting the database, excellent suggestion. The suggestion regarding the education, well taken. The suggestion regarding now for the Nirbhaya case, just for the information of the viewers also, the Supreme Court is hearing the matter day-to-day basis. It cannot just shut the arguments. It is hearing the matter. It is not as if the case has been put in a cold storage, but it was heard as if
it was for 1 year.
We are talking,
it was in cold storage for 1 year.
1.5 years.
Mr. Jain, you don't know it was in cold storage. It was in cold storage for 1.5 years. That's. I mean, I got to know it was a year. It was in
I
cold
don't
storage.
think it was in a cold storage. It is all easier to say.
Personally have followed up.
Ultimately,
it is.
Yes. And we had to appeal.
If you don't know,
Yogita has been tracking that case.
Can I complete my point?
Yes. One second, Hitesh Jain. Yogita has been tracking that case. Yogita, was the case delayed for 1.5 years?
Yes. I personally, with the family, have filed 3 times appeal. Then it started getting hearing. And I wonder, like, I have similar cases like Nirbhaya, and they are again pending. Just because this is the media highlighted case and still it had to wait for 1.5 years. I am really having heartless kind of a situation for my other cases. What will happen to them? I mean, still we go every Monday, Friday, and still it is actually now coming on track. If fast track is 4 years slow, then I don't know what is fast track. So we are about to now another 1 month to go. Maybe we'll get something out of it. But let's see. I mean, we are hoping for the best.
Hitesh Jain.
Now, insofar as court is concerned, what is the role of the government? Is the case being delayed? Government has appointed a special prosecutor. Supreme Court is hearing the party. Supreme Court has appointed an amicus curiae.
You can create the infrastructure.
What more infrastructure about the Supreme Court? When the Supreme Court says that they will appoint the judges, they will manage the court. The government does not manage the roster of the Supreme Court.
So while Hitesh Jain, focus on the things the government can do, like using the Nirbhaya fund, for example.
On the television panel and speak
Hitesh Jain, okay, let's let that point taken. Hitesh Jain, focus on the things that the government can do, like the Nirbhaya fund and the setting up of the one-stop rape centers. Has the government done that?
No.
So these are the government has done that. Government has provided the budget. The respective government
has no time
state
for
governments
women.
have to take steps and.
No, the women and child.
But Delhi police is under whom?
The women and child development ministry has to spend that money.
Everybody is doing
not the state governments.
Can I complete the points?
Yes, please.
Can I complete my point?
Go ahead, Mr. Jain.
Ultimately, out of the suggestions that were made, 2 important suggestions. One is the education and one is sensitization of people at home.
Why
and
not
sensitization of
Why it is
attitude
not
towards
important
women.
to you? Just
Now,
because
these
you
are
can't
the
create
2
infrastructure
things.
for women.
These are the 2 important things that were highlighted,
No,
which
why
goes
not
to the
important?
fundamental
Increase
code.
What about
This has to be
Abbas Singh's
begin
suggestion?
where public participation
What about
is
Abbas
required.
Singh's suggestion
It has
of
to be
speedy
begin from
justice?
my home. It is to be begin from your home, and it has to be begin from the
Absolutely
public
agree.
participation.
But if the person is
Let me just
dying
point
on the
this out.
road,
One
would you
second.
give first aid or would you just
Abbas
give
Singh,
state or depressing?
Abbas Singh made a very, very valid suggestion of speedy justice.
What about the law and order, Hitesh Jain?
Which you have completely
PCR vans,
sidestepped. Where is
increase
the speedy
in
justice?
patrolling,
Abbas Singh.
police
Abbas Singh.
patrolling.
Things which will be long term. What about the immediate thing?
Absolutely.
Hitesh Jain. What about the immediate steps? You're talking of long term education, sensitization. These are voluntary, long term.
No, these are not long-term steps. This has to start immediately. You don't need to take. Why are you treating fundamental step as a long-term? We can start from tomorrow, all these steps.
I'll tell you what we can start from tomorrow, Hitesh Jain. There was a rape, a murder in Mumbai, in Vile Parle, over 11 days ago. There has been no arrest, no suspect. There's been no leads. The police have absolutely nothing. We can start there. We can start with the fact that this state that is run by a BJP government shows some muscle and says, listen, we are not putting up with this. We are not going to put up with people who sneak into homes, into bedrooms, into little girls' homes. And this girl was 24 years old. He raped her, he murdered her, and he set her on fire in her own home. How can we be okay with the fact that 11 days later, the police have nothing in Mumbai? How are we going to make an example of this case? How are we going to show that the speedy justice that Abbas Singh is talking about is something that we're serious about? How are we going to reassure the young girls in this city that we care about them and that they are in fact safe?
Well, to reassure them, that is to be shown that the investigation is going every day. It is not that, yes, there was a couple of one of the police officer, his behavior was bad. Everybody has taken up the issue with the police commissioner also to deal with the errant police officer. So the answer is an efficient investigation.
What are you doing for the prevention? Every political party talks about after the case, they just go and take the photo opportunity. What are you guys doing for prevention? Whether it is Delhi government, whether it's Maharashtra government, central government, they are not doing anything on the prevention. They just don't want to think about mitigating this whole crime.
So when we are talking about prevention, the panelists are saying these are long-term measures.
Now tell us what prevention are you talking about?
One more thing, I would like to ask, after the panel discussion, how many of you will be taking up the issue seriously? How many of you will be coming ahead and partnering with the government? How many of you will be partnering with the NGO? Because what will happen on the panel, the discussion, except the editor who is relentlessly pursuing, the rest of the people all disappear and wait for
Stop. Hitesh Jain, I'd like you to stop. Let me introduce to you one more time. One second. Shama, one second. Let me introduce to Hitesh Jain one more time our panelist. Dr. Varka Chaluni is a psychologist and a psychotherapist who works in the area of crime against women. Yogita Banyana is a social activist of the Das Foundation who works in the area of crime against women. Falguni Bansal is an activist who joins us from Jaipur who works in the area of crime against women. Abha Singh is a lawyer and an activist who works in the area of crime against women. This is what we do day in and day out. Hitesh Jain, these people are not here just to point fingers. These people have been chosen very carefully because this is what they do. So I think it's unfair for you to say that my panel is here just to kick up a ruckus.
They should partner with the government.
So invite them to partner with the government. Invite them to partner with the government.
The moment is where we all come together and we address the situation together.
Dr. Chaluni,
the scenario is such. The issue is sensitive.
Dr. Chalani, there are small things.
We have to keep on doing every day.
It is a very unfortunate thing that the Nirbhaya Fund is just lying there. And we are doing absolutely nothing about it while it can be utilized so easily and properly. So there are long-term things.
Abha Singh, you have filed so many PILs. Why have you not filed a PIL on the Nirbhaya Fund? For the construction and the developers and all,
Jain, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the government thinks that we need to, as citizens, file PILs against the government to get the government to do their job.
No, it is not that.
It is the government's there is a parliamentary panel that I read out to you that said very clearly that it is the job of the Women and Child Ministry to use the Nirbhaya Fund, and the Women and Child Ministry has not done its job. How does it make sense to then threaten Abha Singh personally and ask her to file another PIL against your own government?
We keep filing PIL, we keep filing litigation, we keep going to the courts. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen.
Falguni Bansal, go ahead.
This clearly shows that the governance...
Faye, you cannot just go on filing PILs or cases, or you start a change.org petition. You cannot do that. It has to come easily and swiftly, and that's the only way of doing it. But while the Nirbhaya Fund is just lying everywhere, not being utilized at all, I'll just give you an example of a small town. Darjeeling is a beautiful small hill station in West Bengal, and most of the women and girls are working there, and in every corner and every wall, even 10 years back, much before your Nirbhaya case and much before the awareness, they used to write on every wall, and they have these stickers on every wall that says we have zero tolerance for eve teasing. This is how it begins. When you know that, and you know it's very easy to walk into a tourist city and do whatever you please, because you know most of the people are not accounted for. People drive in, people drive out. So it's so difficult. But that kind of effort can be made anywhere in this country. I'm surprised that why no government wants to do that. I mean, we are so insistent on other things.
Well, I do not quite agree. Ministry of IT, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Roads and Highways, they have all submitted proposals to the central government, and they are utilizing the Nirbhaya Fund for the projects. Ministry of IT, so that the technology can be used. Ministry of Road and Highway for the safety on the road. And Ministry of Railways, Ministry of Transport, everybody has asked for the utilization of Nirbhaya Fund for the safety of women. We must make a point. This has been happening in last 2 years by the central government ministries.
Hitesh Jain, I'm telling you that by the central government ministry, there is a parliamentary panel which obviously members of the central government would have been part of, that have said that they are not satisfied with the action taken in the regard of the Nirbhaya fund. They have said that the fund has been available for the last few years and it has not been utilized. Every year, 1,000 crore rupees gets added to the fund. It's currently at 3,000 crore rupees. It is not being used. It's on paper. It is widely reported. I don't know why we just can't accept that there's been a miss here, that this particular ministry, the Women and Child Development Ministry, has not done its job, and that we will make sure that the Women and Child Development Ministry does its job. Let's stop making excuses for people who have not done their job. It's on paper that the job has not been done. There were 660 rape centers.
But there are other ministries also. It is not just Women and Child Ministry.
It is their job. The Women and Child Ministry, by definition, has to do this job. They set out to open 660 one-stop centers.
I do not agree.
That will
Ministry
offer
of
medical,
Technology has
legal
to do.
and psychological help to women. These centers have not been
Ministry
opened.
of Railway has to do.
These rape centers have not been opened.
Agency to deal with women's safety. You should have a single agency. There is a coordination which is needed. That is where the women's safety is no more priority with the government. That is what we are trying to say. That you should create a system within the system that it doesn't go to the department. It becomes like a holistic thing for women's safety. That is what you need to create.
Well, I don't think so. For example, Railway Ministry is concerned.
No.
Just give me an example. You cannot have an overlapping
Hitesh Jain. So are you telling me that the Railway Ministry is responsible for safety of women in this country, Hitesh Jain? Is the Railway Ministry responsible for safety in this country? The Railway Ministry is not responsible for the number of people who are dying on the trains in Mumbai every day. That job has not been handled. The trains in Mumbai, the local trains in Mumbai, are actually come under the Central Union Railway Ministry. There are people dying in the trains every day. Jo khud apna ministry nahi sambhal raha hai. How will he manage the safety for women? What are we talking about? There is a ministry dedicated to women who are not doing their job.
So does that mean that you have to ignore the issue of safety? It's all easy to say. Every day upgradation work is going on. There is a population issue in Mumbai. They are trying to increase the issue of rack concerns. Every day upgradation of technology of railway is being discussed. So it is not something that Ministry of Railway is sitting quiet. In last 2 years,
you're just going away. You're running away from
anybody has performed,
because the government of the day has not done anything.
I want to acknowledge our panelists for coming in today and making very, very valid suggestions. These are suggestions that we are going to on this channel. Shama, I've run out of time, unfortunately. These are suggestions that we are going to push with the government, and I want to make it very clear to our audience, it doesn't matter what excuses we hear, we are not letting this go. The case in Vile Parle of the 22-year-old girl, we will not let it go. We will chase it every day until there is an arrest being made. A database, a national, public, online database that needs to be put up of everyone that is convicted of a sexual offence, be that molestation, child molestation, eve teasing, or stalking, or rape, so we can know who these men are. That's demand number 1. Speedy justice is demand number 2. That the Women and Child Ministry of the Union government actually does its job is demand number 3. Those rape centers need to be opened, the Nirbhaya fund needs to be used, and it needs to be used responsibly. And my 4th demand is from the government that you actually create a body that looks into crime against women. Is that too much to ask? Are we not as important as GST? Are we not as important as demonetization? Are we not as important as Swachh Bharat or anything else that you're chasing right now? Why isn't crime against women one of your pet projects? Smart cities, Swachh Bharat, all of these things are fantastic. Where are women on your agenda? Where is our safety on your agenda? We are one half of this country. And we are a very strong half of this country. And our voices will not be drowned anymore. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.